entrepreneurs. Today I want to talk to you about two major complaints we constantly hear from business owners about their tax services. The first is that they're not very responsive, especially during tax time. I can never get a hold of my person. That's a common complaint. And the second is, I feel like I'm paying too much in tax and there's more I could be doing to lower my tax bill. Does this sound familiar to you? Well, it's because it's a common frustration with the tax profession. The irony, though, is that we really can't blame the CPA or tax professional. It's not their fault. They're doing the best they can to make a living using a model that's been around for a long time. What's both to blame and needs a change is the traditional profession services model. Let's talk about this. Let me break it down. The typical model is to charge one fee once a year for the tax prep and nominal planning efforts, mostly with a compliance focus. They want to keep you out of trouble. And if the tax professional is largely being paid only at tax time, they have to fit in a lot of returns during that short period for the model to work. Hence the I can never get a hold of them becomes a real issue. On top of that, the amount they're charging for each return is not enough to spread over a year of high-touch, individualized tax planning either. So now the common response to this is, I can't afford to pay a tax professional year-round. But what I'm here to show you is why you can't afford not to. Let's break it down. I want to use a simple example to illustrate. Let's say you own a small but profitable company, making about $500,000 a year. Okay, that's going to be your taxable income. Let's call it TI, or taxable income. Now, on a $500,000 company, you're probably going to be paying about $125,000 in tax. And that's both your IRS and your state rate, right? 25% combination, depending on where you live, but we'll just call that your tax. After that return is completed, your CPA then sends you an invoice. It's going to cost you about $1,000 to prep that tax return. And I know what you're saying, that's $1,000. It's even a lot of money, but we'll call that the fee. So in total, for tax-related services in that year, you're paying $126,000 for tax-related services in scenario number one. Okay? So we'll call this scenario number one. Let's talk about scenario number two now. What if I told you that we could get that same year tax bill down to $50,000 through effective and ethical tax planning, working year-round with the tax strategist? So that's $50,000 in tax and a savings of $75K. You're probably thinking, yeah, right, that's too good to be true. How much would that be worth it to you, though? Let's talk about how this becomes a reality with Visibility's tax planning service. First, it's important to call out a couple things. The time and attention needed to tax plan typically requires more of an investment. But remember, no one makes an investment unless there are higher returns than the investment. So let's break down the math first. For purposes of our example, let's say our services would be roughly $2 to $3K a month, or $30,000 for the year, to have a regular, recurring, high-touch focus on planning and implementing tax strategies to lower your tax bill. So we're going to come in here, we'll say $30K for the year, right? That's your fee to work with Visibility. But when you net and I get it, you're still saying $30,000, it's a lot of money. But when you net the $30,000 with the reduced tax bill of $75,000, you come out ahead by about $46,000. So you're sitting here at about $80,000, right, in total tax-related services, right? And you're comparing this to $126,000, a savings of $46K. Not sure if you can see that, but we're talking about a savings of $46K here. Now, we all know that everything in life is relative, and to know the savings and understand the value, you almost have to go through the pain of the higher paying tax scenario where you don't get a lot of year-round attention from your tax preparer. That's this scenario number one here with $126,000. But remember, in that one scenario of $126,000, the $125K in tax and the $1K in prep fee, you have minimal interaction with your preparer and minimal discussion on what can be done throughout the year to reduce your tax bill. Now, in the second scenario here, right, scenario number two, you're implementing a plan to reduce your bill by $75,000. And the fee, well, a little bit higher at $30,000, right, $75K netted with the $30K, that allows for attention and focus on customizing a plan to ethically lower your tax bill, still saving, in this case, $46K, like we have here. And again, instead of silence or non-responsiveness or whatever your complaint may be, you actually get about 3 or 4 things that we like to focus on. Real-time strategy, ongoing communication, monthly planning under a tax lens, and year-round optimization for your business and personal net worth. So again, more services for less money at the end of the day. The math makes the problem a no-brainer. And not only is that $46K money that you can keep in your business, but yearly tax planning allows us to find tax strategies that align with your operating plan and allow you to reinvest in your growth and net worth, not just a random grab bag at the end of the year. We're going to talk more about operating plans in another video. They're very important, more on the CFO side of things. But remember, tax strategy isn't just about squeezing in that one last deduction. It's about building a long-term plan that protects profit, reduces waste, and strengthens your ability to grow, and also your net worth to grow. We're going to be looking at those two big areas. The system may be broken, but business owners don't have to stay stuck in it. If you currently have a tax professional that is actively tax planning and providing the attention your business needs, then by all means, hold tight to your professional and thank him or her for their great service. But if this is not the case and you are interested in learning more about how we might be able to help you in your specific situation, click the link below and book a call with us today. Let us help you stop guessing and start seeing clearly. Let's do this.